Hey guys, what's going on? We're back on for the live stream. We're playing NieR Replicant. So on the previous stream, we completed Route A and the really, really dramatic ending. Like, oh Jesus. Okay, so we are going to start Route B today, and yeah, Route B is, if the game wasn't interesting before, like Route B kind of introduces like sort of the underbelly of the whole story, and it kind of provides like a whole different perspective to what's happening. And I'd say like this is where the game starts getting very tragic, like if it wasn't tragic before, like yeah, pretty serious stuff. Okay, so yeah, we are going to just start the game, load in our file, and it should allow us to start at Route B. I believe yeah, what it's gonna do is it's gonna start us after the it's gonna start us after the time skip. Yeah, so yeah, we're gonna be using adult protagonist NieR, and yeah, so in this route, we're like when the route starts, actually it's actually gonna start with a storybook, and we're gonna get a few short stories about Kaine, to kind of explain like what the hell is going on with her character and like how she grew up, that type of stuff. So yeah, that should be really interesting. Okay, let's see. Yeah, let's go ahead and load in the game. Hopefully everyone is doing very well today. Oh, Mr. Weasel is here. Hello, Mr. Weasel. Rek is here. He says Route B about to slap right in the feels. Actually, Rek, let me ask you, do you have a copy of the game? Because I can't remember talking with you about that. Okay, so we're going to continue our file. So, like, in the options, we did set it to have the NieR Automata soundtrack, so hopefully that doesn't ruin things too badly. I hear the soundtrack works very well with this game, though. Okay, here we go. So we're going to load in our Route B. Oh, we have Pod. Yeah, Pod is much, much cuter than Yona, right? Oh, I miss Pod so much.
Whenever I interacted with Kaine, I was reminded about something from my past. Maybe my mind
Hey Danny,
has
what's
been
going on?
confusing her with my sister this whole time. Anyway.
Mr. Weasel's asking, are we going to have Kaine in A2's outfit? I think I might have left everybody on default outfit today. Okay, here we go, storybook time. Okay, the sound of rain filled the village. Yeah, hopefully you guys can just sit back and grab some popcorn today. Okay, yeah, everybody loves their book learning, right? The steep cliffs that surrounded the area magnified sound, causing even the slightest drizzle to rattle like a thunderstorm. Okay, I gotta slow down here. Okay. Thin wisps of smoke streamed from the huts as the villagers huddled in their homes and waited out the rain. A single child, however, had braved the downpour and was now wandering slowly toward the wooden hawk-shaped weather vane at the center of town. Rex says he played Gestalt when he was in college. His roommate was gracious enough to let him borrow it. Okay. The wanderer reached the vein, which had existed for as long as any could remember, and stared. The child's face was simultaneously delicate and fierce, like a teacup that had survived a shipwreck. Those traits combined with pale white skin to give the face an almost sexless quality. If the beak turns east, I go home. If it stays west, then I... The child blinked. Rain slowly dripped down the young one's short hair and began its long descent to the ground. Come on. Come on! The child felt a slight breeze and watched as the vein slowly creaked to life. Spinning this way and that for a moment, it finally settled with the beak pointing firmly toward the east. East? Really? Before the vein could move again, a jagged rock came spinning and tumbling through the air, striking home against the child's head. The force of the blow dropped the child to the ground as a hail of stones began to fall all around. Oh no, they found me. A heartbreaking smile crept across the child's face as the stones continued their assault. Through the rain, the sound of multiple footsteps grew louder as before a voice rang out. Yoo-hoo, Kaine. The voice belonged to Demo, worst of all the bullies in the area. As Kaine struggled to stand, a final stone came skittering through the mud and bounced against her foot. Blood oozed from a cut above her eye and blurred her vision, but she could make out the shapes of Demo and his usual gang of idiots. The boy seemed taken aback for a moment by Kaine's seeming indifference to the blood dripping from her face, but quickly regained his bravado. What's up, freak? You like the rain? You like getting all wet? Or did you finally decide to run away from home? Hey Raga, what's going on? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, we're just reading a book about Kaine right now. Yeah, this is her from her childhood. Though she knew it was futile, Kaine turned to leave. Before she could get more than a few steps, the other children scrambled to surround her, cruelty burning in their eyes. Kaine knew those were not the only eyes on her. Sorry, my brain's not working very well today. The tormentor's parents watched from the safety of their homes. She was attuned to this sensation. It was one she had experienced many times before. While some villagers simply turned a blind eye to the actions of their children, many encouraged it openly. In a society ruled by superstition and fear, Kaine was something to be hated, and if possible, destroyed. I didn't say you could leave, freak. Demo's words chewed at her like a worm through an apple. Oh, those damn worms getting our apples. He can't hurt me, she lied to herself. Be strong, be brave. He can't hurt me, he can't hurt me, he can't hurt me. Oh look, the little freak's gonna cry? What's wrong? Are you sad that everyone hates you and wants you dead? Kaine prayed for the rain to flood down and carry her away from a world that seemed to have no place for her. But if there were gods, they chose to ignore her. As Demo crept ever closer, the clouds began to thin and the rain slowed. Even the weather hates me. I'm useless, a failure. I wish Demo's rock had taken my head off. Kaine couldn't meet Demo's leering gaze. She lowered her eyes and stared at the muddy ground below. The bully moved forward until he was inches away. She could smell the scent of old meat on his breath. Oof. The boy grabbed Kaine's face with thick fingers and yanked it upward. She tried to turn away, but he forced her gaze back and jammed his thumb against her eyelid to pry it open. Show me. No. Did you just say no? Demo grinned evilly. You don't say no to me. No one says no to me. Not even taking his attention from Kaine, he called to his cohorts. Come on guys, let's give the freak what she deserves. As soon as Demo finished, kicks and blows began to rain down upon Kaine. Oh god, okay. They're just beating this person for existing. Okay. Demo paused, still grinning, as Kaine curled into a ball and tried to make the pain stop. I don't get you, freak. What you acting like a girl for, huh? Everyone knows what you really are. Kaine ignored the question, choosing instead to stare at the weather vane. It continued to point east, as if supremely confident about the future it had chosen for her. Go home? Yeah, that's a funny joke for someone with dead parents and no home to go to. Freak, chanted the children. Freak, freak, freak. Kaine closed her eyes and listened to the rain, waiting for the pain to start again. As the clutching hands of the village children closed around her, she bent her mind to the sound of the rain, letting it become her entire world. The rain fell, but the pain never came. Only when the laughter of her tormentors turned to terrified cries did she dare open a single blood-caked eye. Kaine was shocked to see Demo sprawled on the ground, holding his head and screaming in pain. She could see blood welling from spaces between his fat, twisted fingers. Oh my god, he's crying. He's actually crying. Deprived of their leader, the other children glanced back and forth between themselves, as if waiting for someone to step forward and take charge. When no savior emerged, they began an uneasy shuffle away from Kaine. But the young girl was the least of their concerns. Instead, their attention was wrapped on the ancient woman standing a few feet away. After struggling for breath for a moment, she finally spoke in a voice thick with rage. "Hurts like a bitch, don't it? Now I suggest you scatter before I throw another one. And if any of you little bastards ever touch my Kaine again, I'll do far worse than throw a rock. You can count on it." The old woman crouched down and gently touched the hand Dima was using to cover the wound. Before he could think to protest, she ground her palm into the wound and twisted back and forth. Wow. "Ow," he screamed, leaping to his feet. "Stop it. What are you doing?" "Quit whining. Ain't no one ever died from a scratch." Hey. "You hit me with a rock, you stupid bitch. A big one. That thing could have killed me." The old woman shrugged. Death is the best cure for stupid." Dima's face twisted with rage at her words. Locking his eyes on Kaine, he took a step backward and spat on the ground. Yeah, I never really understood this spitting on the ground gesture. I guess it's like a gesture of disgust. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, spitting is gross. Okay, get out. Leave this village. No one wants you here, either of you. Seeing the old woman grab another stone, Demo and his companions turned tail and ran. As they fled, the old woman grabbed her side and barked out a single laugh. "Ha! Look at the fat boy go." Jesus. Okay, guess he's healthy enough to run from a fight. The woman's smile faded as she turned her attention to Kaine. Mr. Weasel says, "Kids are always dicks, no matter the age." Yeah, I distinctly remember my own childhood. Yes, that is true. Because, yeah, it's kind of hard to develop compassion when you have no life experience yourself, really. Okay, the woman's smile faded as she turned her attention to Kaine. Kneeling down, she removed her shawl and placed it around the young girl's shoulders, then produced a cloth from the folds of her dress and began blotting at the blood on her forehead. That's a very long sentence. "Oh, Kaine," she said, "why didn't you fight back? You're stronger than that lot." The words of her grandmother stung Kaine, and she turned away. "Don't be nice to me," she said. "I don't deserve it. Nothing matters anymore." Her tears, held in check for so long, finally began to fall in the muddy ground below. "Everyone hates me. They think I cause bad things to happen. They think I'm a freak. I wish I was dead." As Kaine's tears turned to sobs, she felt her grandmother's hands on her shoulders. Despite her advanced age and diminutive size, she was a woman of surprising strength, and Kaine found herself unable to turn away. "Don't talk like that, girl. It's a river wide and deep that flows between the realms of this world and the next, and it grants no mercy to any that attempt the crossing. You got a duty to fight until your last breath. Understand?" The old woman tightened her grip and tried to still the tremor in her voice. "You know the pain of losing someone close to you, Kaine? You know because you survived it." As the words hit home, Kaine was struck by the force of her love for the old woman. As a young child, she didn't even know of her grandmother, but when her parents died, the woman quickly accepted her as her own. Grandma, as Kaine called her, was cunning, vulgar, and quick to violence, and their first years together had not been easy. But with each year that passed, Kaine and her grandmother had grown closer. However, it was only now, sitting in the mud with tears and blood caking her face, that Kaine truly understood the depths of her affection. Here was a woman who had seen hard times, who had seen death, who had fought through all these things and somehow emerged on the other side. If anyone could understand Kaine's pain and loneliness, it was her. "Do I make you sick, Grandma?" course not. Don't be an ass. Kaine drew her grandmother's moth-eaten shawl around her body and shuddered. But my body, it's not normal. If I was normal, then Mom and Dad wouldn't. Hush, interrupted Grandma. I'll not hear another word of this nonsense. You're my granddaughter, and I love you. And if folks have a problem with that, they can just go to hell. With that, the old woman reached out and placed a wreath of dried flowers in Kaine's hair. The skill it took to bend the flowers without breaking the stems or losing a single petal was remarkable, and the beauty of it made Kaine want to cry all over again. Oh my gosh, these are lunar tears. Grandma, you made this for me? Lunar tears were legendary flowers. Most people could live their entire lives without ever seeing one, and yet her grandmother had somehow collected a dozen or more. Kaine reached up and touched the wreath as if she couldn't believe it was real. Where did you find these? Just stumbled on them while I was out doing the shopping. The old woman turned away as she spoke, leading Kaine to suspect that the search had been more difficult than she was letting on. The pains she took to construct the ornament, let alone track down the flowers used in its construction, made Kaine's heart hurt. She reached up and gently adjusted the wreath, admiring the way it felt between her fingers. Didn't quite turn out right, said her grandmother as she squinted at it. These old hands have trouble with delicate work, but it sure looks good on a pretty girl like you. Kaine blushed and turned away. You think I'm pretty? Of course you are. What a fool thing to say. Thank you, Grandma. Her grandmother smiled. We're gonna be fine, you and me, she said. Long as we got each other. We'll be just fine. Hey Andrew, what's going on? We're reading a book together today? Yeah, this is a short story about Kaine's past. Okay. Kaine took her grandmother's hand in hers, and the two of them struggled to their feet. As they began the long walk home, Kaine gripped the hand with all her might, as if trying to stop the smoke from drifting away on the wind. The rain had stopped. Kaine stood beneath the weather vane, watching it spin in lazy circles, no longer caring about the direction it faced when it stopped. I don't need to escape. I have a home now. Grandma loves me, and that's enough. Even if it's us against the world. Kaine let her gaze drift up past the vane and into the cloudy sky. The last faint hints of a rainbow were slowly fading. As she turned and headed for home, the light scattered into a million particles and vanished, seemingly taken away on the breeze. Okay, Kaine's dreams, daily life. Okay, let's catch up with the chat here. Danny says, did you guys know that the Song of the Ancients played at the opening ceremony of the Tokyo Olympics? Pretty cool. Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, very weeby. Yeah, good job, Japan. Mr. Weasel says for the first time in his life he had been rooting against the American teams, with the exceptions of a few sports in this year's Olympics. He felt happy seeing the Canadian soccer team served us that slice of humble pie. Yeah, I didn't watch any of the Olympics. Yeah, like all that athleticism is very amazing and impressive. I've just been never really connected to it because, you know, I'm not an athlete. I've always been more of a scholar. And then this year, the Olympics just seem to be a platform for virtue signaling, which is, you know, that's not really my thing. So, yeah, hopefully everyone else enjoys the Olympics. Yeah, maybe I'll check out the fencing matches or something. Okay, let's continue the story. In the distance, Kaine heard the steady sounds of an axe striking wood. The noise had a purposeful quality to it, as if she was hearing a master woodsman go about his work. The firewood being produced, however, was as far from a work of art as could be. Pieces of every shape and size were being flung about a barren yard with wild abandon. Anyone trying to stack such wood would probably die of frustration before the job was through. Stupid piece of shit axe? Kaine's grandmother flailed away with the axe, filling the air with both splinters of wood and words that would make the most hardened sailor blush. Grandma, called Kaine. That you, Kaine? Yelled the old woman, taking her eyes off the wood for a moment. Don't get too close or I might take your goddamn foot off by mistake. Yeah, having chopped wood earlier this year, I can confirm how difficult and annoying it can be. Okay. She brought the axe down on a piece of wood, sending chips flying in every direction. One spun past Kaine close enough for her to hear the whistle, at which point she decided to step back. Once she had scuttled to a safe distance, she cupped her hands around her mouth and shouted, "Grandma, do you need help? Can I get you water or lunch or a new axe or something?" The axe, poised to strike another wobbly blow, paused in midair. The old woman considered her granddaughter's offer for a moment, then smiled. "Tell you what, since I'm doing such a piss-poor job of chopping, why don't you come here and take over so I can go get the water? Shades have been restless lately, and I don't want you running into one of them bastards." Relinquishing the axe, her grandmother picked up a long pole with wooden buckets on either end. Gathering water was by far the more difficult of the two jobs, but Kaine knew better than to complain. Once Grandma's mind was set, there was no changing it. Kaine did her best to help with the chores, but Grandma took every task that required travel to the village. Though she had a long list of plausible excuses, Kaine knew the real reason. She didn't want her granddaughter to be taunted and harassed by the villagers. Once Kaine moved in, Grandma decided to take up residence a good distance from the area. Out of sight, out of mind seemed to be the best policy when it came to the villagers and her granddaughter, and rare were the days when any but the two of them could be found on the rocky acre of land they called home. Yeah, so I guess that little hut, like way out of the way of the village, is where she and Grandma lived. Kaine enjoyed the solitude, but harbored a secret resentment that her grandmother was forced to spend her golden years in such a place. After watching her grandmother leave, Kaine turned her attention to the task at hand. She had never chopped wood before in her life, and soon discovered why the old woman hated the chore. Swing after swing of the axe produced only a tiny crack in the wood, and when she finally managed to connect with a solid stroke, the tool embedded itself in the log and refused to budge. Yeah, this is why you use a splitting wedge and a hammer instead. Yeah, preferably a sledgehammer or something. Frustrated, Kaine swung the axe around her head and threw it, log and all, across the yard. Yeah, not safe. Damn it. Crap. She suddenly understood the joy her grandmother felt in a good curse. Happier now, she picked up the axe, forced it from the wood, and resumed chopping. She had a natural skill with a blade, but the task was challenging, and blisters soon began to form on her small pink hands. This is tough, and my logs are all weird sizes. Yeah. Spitting on her palms and ignoring the pain, Kaine redoubled her efforts. Just as she was developing a rhythm, Grandma returned from the village. Setting down her buckets with a small sigh, she took one look at the logs and coughed out a wheezy laugh. "Pretty clumsy, girl. You better practice if you..." Her grandmother suddenly collapsed to her knees, causing one of the buckets to wobble precariously. Eyes wide, Kaine dropped the axe and ran to her grandmother's side. "Grandma!" The old woman shook her head and pointed a trembling finger at the bucket. "Get the bucket. Can't let it spill." Kaine steadied the bucket with a foot as she knelt by her grandmother. A small bit of water sloshed over the side and made a new home in the hem of her dress, but Kaine didn't notice. "Grandma? Grandma, what's happening?" Crazed with panic, she grabbed her grandmother by the shoulders and shook. After a moment, the woman lifted her arms and batted Kaine away. "Stop that, just stop," she cried, breathing heavily. "It ain't like I'm dying. Just tired from the trip is all." Kaine desperately wanted to believe her, but one look at the old woman's shaking hands and worn face told her more than words ever could. Her grandmother had lived a long, hard life, and it seemed that the bill was finally coming due. The time when her grandmother watched over Kaine was ending. Sooner than either of them had feared, the positions would be reversed. The next morning, Kaine came to the side of her grandmother's bed and took her wrinkled hand. "Grandma, you're sick, and you need medicine. I'm going to the village." The old woman shook her head and tried to rise, but Kaine gently pushed her down. "It's all right," she said. "I'll be fine." Her grandmother fixed her with a gaze that could melt steel. After what seemed an eternity, she finally lowered her eyes and sighed. "Well, I don't like it, goddammit. But I guess I should quit being so stubborn and let you grow up." The old woman watched as Kaine strapped on her boots and made her way down the road to the village. Hours later, as an unseen sun made its way across a dark and rainy sky, she was still watching. Kaine moved at a brisk pace, checking her pockets every few minutes to make sure the money her grandmother gave her was still there. Every noise caused her to spin on her heels, making sure she wasn't being stalked by a shade, or worse, Demo and his gang. Yeah, those little motherfuckers are worse than, like, a possessed, like, black demon, like, aura thing. Like, yeah. But she encountered neither tormentors nor shades, and Kaine finally found herself at the entrance to the village. The few adults she could see glanced sideways at her, then muttered to each other behind raised hands before slinking away into the shadows. Her heart racing, Kaine took a series of rapid, shallow breaths and tried to calm herself. "I have to prove myself. I have to help Grandma. I have to be strong." She chanted those words to herself over and over as she slowly made her way. Finally, her eyes settled on a rotund, older woman who was angrily waving her arms in the air and telling anyone who would listen exactly what she thought of Kaine's presence. "Hey, lady," said Kaine with a bravado she did not feel. "Where's the apothecary?" The woman's flabby cheeks shook in bewildered anger. "How dare this thing speak to me?" they seemed to say. But Kaine saw that her eyes held a different emotion. Fear. "Yeah, we're both scared, lady. Trust me on this one." "Which way?" Kaine repeated. The woman pointed at a small building to her right before hitching up her dress and stumbling off in the other direction. There's a lot of fat people in this village, I guess. That might be because everyone's just like hiding out in their teeny tiny homes and not going outside. Yeah, kind of like right now with the lockdowns. Kaine cringed, expecting a stone to come flying from the assembled crowd, but none came. Her mind was filled with a strange sense of pride as she made her way to the apothecary, but the new emotion had little time to take root, for as soon as she opened the door, she noticed a familiar customer at the counter. It was Demo. He'd clearly been sent there on some kind of family errand, because his gang of followers was nowhere to be found. "Oh my god," he sputtered. "I mean, what are you doing here, freak?" The insult was delivered without force, and Kaine happily ignored it. Stretching on tiptoes to see over the counter, she asked the shopkeeper for the medication. "Ha," barked Demo. "That old bitch finally keel over?" "Go to hell, Demo." The boy's eyes grew so wide they seemed ready to fall out of his head, but before he could let fly a comeback, or worse, a punch, the apothecary told them to knock it off before he kicked them out of the store. Demo slunk out of the shop, cursing Kaine under his breath. Once he was gone, she allowed herself to breathe once more, taking a brief tour of the shop while the owner prepared her medication. Countless tiny bottles filled the cramped store, each with a label written in some indecipherable language. An ocean of aromas assaulted her nose, creating a scent that was exotic, but not altogether unpleasant. Seeing such a variety of supplies gave Kaine a sense of peace. Surely, in a world so vast, there would be a place that she could call home. On the far wall, behind the counter, rested a portrait of a stunning young girl. The picture had once contained bright, vibrant colors, but time had worked its cruel magic, and they were beginning to fade. The beauty of the work, however, remained undiminished. "You like that picture?" Kaine turned to find the apothecary with a small vial of medicine in his hand. His eyes were gentle but sad, and they seemed to stare through her and into nothing as he spoke. "That's my daughter. I sketched it when she was just a little girl." She's been dead a long time now. Kaine didn't know how to respond. She just stared at the portrait and tried to come up with the right words. Pictures are wonderful things, continued the shopkeeper. They let the ones closest to you live on forever. He shook his head slightly, then looked down at Kaine and smiled. Handing her the medicine, he reached into his sizable green apron and produced a handful of old wax crayons. You should have these. There's no one left that I wish to draw. Oh, fuck me. Okay. That's terrible. Okay. Kaine took an instinctive step back, causing the shopkeeper's face to darken. Yes, I've heard the rumors about you, he said. It's a small village, and word travels quickly. Between you and me, I'm not sure which of them to believe, but I also don't think they matter much. I know your grandmother, Callie, and I think the way she was driven out of this town is just deplorable. Grandma's name is Callie? Thought Kaine suddenly. She was still mulling this new fact over in her mind, as she reached out and gently took the crayons from the apothecary's hands. Your grandmother is an old friend of mine, he said as Kaine scooted away yet again, and I owe her much. I wager she would like it if you drew a picture of her. Yes, I think she would like that very much. Kaine murmured a quiet agreement, but inside her heart was bursting. Never before had a villager treated her with anything but complete contempt. It was a tiny, almost imperceptible step, but it was a step nonetheless, and with enough tiny steps, she might one day discover the rest of the world. When Kaine returned home, she found her grandmother asleep in her bed. Her feet were blackened and raw, even bleeding a bit in places, leading Kaine to think that she had been pacing around the room until exhaustion finally caught up with her. She placed the medicine by her grandmother's pillow and turned to leave, but found the old woman's hand clasped around her arm. Back already, are you? Asked grandmother with a yawn. Come here, let me have a look at you. Grandma sat up and examined Kaine from head to toe. Finally satisfied that nothing terrible had befallen her grandchild, she leaned back and allowed herself to relax. Well, how was it? Those bastards give you any trouble? It was kind of fun, said Kaine with a small smile. No, seriously, it was. Fun, eh? Asked her grandmother, in a voice which implied she believed anything but. Uh-huh. So anytime you need me to run an errand, just let me know. As she spoke, Kaine removed the crayons from her pocket. After a brief explanation of their source, she informed her grandmother that she was going to sketch her a portrait. A portrait of me? Ridiculous. No one wants to stare at a wrinkled old crone. But Grandma, it'll make you live forever. Horseshit. Said her grandmother, throwing back the sheet from her bed. Living forever would just piss me off. Now put those crayons away and help with dinner. I fucking love this woman. She's awesome. Yeah, but Kaine would not relent, and in the end, Grandma found herself leaning against the wall of their house, as if posing for a master artist. Kaine took up the crayons, eyed her subject carefully, and set to work. Just as her grandmother was about to nod off, Kaine finished the piece. After staring at it for a bit, she released it from her grip and let it slowly drift to the floor. It's terrible. It doesn't look like you at all. I'm sorry, Grandma. I thought these crayons would, make drawing easy or something. The old woman's eyes narrowed at her granddaughter's disappointment. Let me be the judge of that, she said, ignoring the pain in her back and reaching for the paper. The sketch could have been a person's face. It also could have been a boulder, a lump of clay, or an incredibly misshapen loaf of bread, all rendered in a chaotic array of colors. The old woman stared at the picture for a long time, then slowly wheezed out a laugh. Oh, Kaine, she said between laughter, you truly are my blood. You're as clumsy as me, and I love it. But, hush, I won't hear any more bull about how ugly you think it is. It came from the heart, and I'll treasure it always. True to her word, the old woman gave the picture a place of honor above the kitchen table. In the days that followed, Kaine would often catch her staring at the portrait with a strange smile on her face, an action she interpreted as silent, mocking laughter. A week later, Kaine could stand it no more, and she asked her grandmother to take the artwork down. "Posh," said the old woman. "I'll take this down when they roll me in my shroud." She pondered this for a bit, then turned to Kaine and dropped to one knee. "Listen to me, girl. Seeing this picture makes me happy in a way I've never felt before. And it makes me want to go on, so that someday you can feel the same happiness." It was a moment that burned itself in Kaine's memory, a perfect blend of pride and love and joy that came together to form a lifelong remembrance. Okay, I don't know why my brain substituted a completely non-existent word right there. Okay, I'm going senile already. Okay. Okay. She swore to never forget this moment, to never forget the old woman who had made her place in the world possible. Time moves on. People and memories move in and out of a life like ghosts passing through a hall. But this moment will be different, Kaine swore, because I'll remember it forever. Forever. Okay, Kaine's dreams, separation. Hey, Banebeard, what's going on? Yeah, we just loaded in Route B, and it starts with a few short stories that explain Kaine's past, so we're just reading through it right now. I just wanted to stop and say that this writing is very beautiful. Yeah, like Yoko Taro's staff, they're very talented people. They really know how to articulate human emotion. And then, you know, I've never seen the original Japanese, but the translators, they took a lot of care in translating this story. Okay, so here's the third story. I actually probably should take a sip of water. And you know what? Maybe applying more chipstick would be a good idea. Because it's Texas, and yeah, my face is burning off of my head. Okay, there we go. Alright, let's continue. Kaine listened to the sound of crackling firewood and stared at the black object on her plate. She'd been pushing it around the wooden disc for a good 10 minutes, ignoring the bemused stare of her grandmother. Oh, they have wood plates. Maybe I should get stuff like that. Yeah, a bunch of my plates exploded in the microwave because yeah, I guess they didn't take to the temperature difference very well. Mr. Weasel says, "Slurp that water, Zero." Yeah, you keep that going. I might have to charge you money for listening to that stuff. A bunch of perverts. Finally, she summoned her courage and gave the object a brief sniff. A sharp, bitter scent flew up her nostrils and made its home there, causing her face to twist with disgust. "Grandma, I can't believe you want me to eat a bug." The old woman threw some more wood under their cooking pot and snorted. "It's no bug, you fool girl. It's a berry." "Why the hell would I be feeding you bugs?" "Yeah, well, it sure looks like a bug," said Kaine. "I think it's burnt or something because it smells terrible." Now, Banebeard says, "You say perverts like it's surprising." Oh, no, it's not. And you know how I know it's like you guys are all perverts? It's because I'm a pervert. And you know, evil attracts evil. So welcome. Okay, let's continue. With that, Kaine held her nose and threw the berry in her mouth, chewing as little as possible. I mean, I've done that plenty of times in my childhood. "Oh yeah, that's terrible, alright." "Why, you little brat," laughed the old woman. "Look at the sass on you. You've been spending too much time with me, and that's a fact." 5 years had passed since the moment when Kaine's grandmother saved her from the bullies. As is often the way with two stubborn people, their relationship had grown in fits and starts, but moved forward all the same. Meals that used to be somber affairs were now filled with laughter and hurled abuse in equal measure. Kaine could not remember a time when she had been happier. As the years went by, Kaine started to shoulder more and more of the daily responsibilities. Her grandmother's legs grew weaker by the day, and she could no longer do many of the chores she used to take for granted. and so this morning found Kaine lacing up her work boots with a breakfast of burned berry rolling through her belly. Ugh. "Where are you going today?" asked Grandma suddenly. Kaine looked up, surprised. The old woman rarely asked for specifics anymore. "Well, I was gonna check out the kelma trees and see if they were ripe. I thought we could make some jam or something. Oh, and I'm going to pick up some flagstones, so I need to take the wheelbarrow." "Flagstones? What in the hell for?" Kaine stared at her grandmother, then held out an arm and swept it around their home. Constructed mostly of cloth, rope, and rubble, the old place sagged like a boxer in the final round. Wow, that's some really good imagery right there. "Grandma, a dying cat could chew through this house." "I'm going to build a stone wall so we have some protection." The old woman laughed, exposing her toothless grin to the world. "Goddamn, girl, if a bunch of thieves want to ransack this old place, let 'em come. We got nothing worth stealing anyway." "I'm not worried about thieves. I'm worried about shades. People saw one west of the village yesterday." The old woman tilted her head and stared at her granddaughter. "Well, shoot. I don't know why you have to do it today. We can worry about it some other." "Grandma, no. If I don't go to the kelma trees, we won't eat tonight. You know that." A confused expression passed across the old woman's face, and for a moment, she was a small child lost at a carnival. "Oh, man. Yes," she said after a bit. "Yes, of course you're right. I'm sorry, Kaine. Lately it seems my mind is..." She didn't finish the thought, instead walking over to her nightstand and gently taking the wreath of lunar tears from the drawer. The flower's petals had aged to a brilliant whiteness, and Kaine thought it was more beautiful now than the day she first received it. "You're gonna be a true woman soon," Grandma said as she placed the flowers in the girl's hair. "So that means less chatter about shades and building defensive walls and more talk about how beautiful you've become." Annoyed, Kaine reached up to remove the garland, but the look on her grandmother's face stopped her hand. "You're a beautiful thing," said the old woman, "and there ain't another like you in all the world. I'm very proud of you." "Okay, Grandma, that's enough goddamn compliments for one day." "Such a mouth on you. Where did that come from? Gee, I wonder." "I'll teach you to sass me, girl," yelled Grandma. Suddenly, she lurched forward and grabbed Kaine by the ears, pulling her around the room with a crazed grin on her face. "Grandma," yelled Kaine in a quaking voice. "Grandma, stop it. What the hell?" The old woman stared at her and blinked, then slowly held her wrinkled hands out, as if it was the first time she had ever seen them. Oh, I don't know what happened there. I'm sorry, girl. Sometimes my mind just..." Kaine thought the look on her grandmother's face was the most heartbreaking thing she had ever seen. "Listen," she began, "maybe I should stay home after all." "No, I won't have you stay here and keep an eye on an old codger like me. You go get your fruit and your wall and whatnot. I'll be fine. And when you come back, I'll have a nice grasshopper dinner waiting for you." Oh, fuck me. Yeah, do you know, folks in North Korea, they have to, survive by eating grasshoppers in the spring. Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyway, yeah. Kaine rolled her eyes, then kissed her grandmother on the forehead, and made ready to depart, trying desperately to ignore the worry that was gnawing at the walls of her heart. Kaine could feel the old woman's eyes watching her as she moved down the path. Don't turn around, she told herself. But in the end, the temptation was too great. She spun on her heel for one final look, and saw a small, bent woman standing in front of a ramshackle hut, with a sad expression on her face. God, she looks so old now. It's like the wind could reach down and just carry her away. Kaine worried about her grandmother all day, causing her work to suffer. What little fruit she could collect was tossed carelessly into the wheelbarrow, and she only found a couple of stones before losing interest in the project. Finally, as dusk approached, she decided to call it a day. Cursing herself for the lack of focus, Kaine pushed the nearly empty wheelbarrow back down the path. As she crested the final hill, she suddenly froze in place. The wheelbarrow fell from her fingers and collapsed on its side, sending a few pieces of wrinkled brown fruit rolling back down the hill. Her gaze was transfixed by a thick black cloud that hovered just ahead. Tracing its path with a finger, Kaine suddenly felt her stomach knot in on itself. No. Oh gods, no. Her grandmother's house was ablaze, the flames licking up as if trying to touch the sky itself. Grandma? Grandma! Kaine ran then, faster than she had ever moved in her life. Once she tripped on a stone and went sprawling into the rocky ground, but she leapt to her feet and continued running, unmindful of the blood that spilled from her wounded hands and knees. As she got closer and closer, Kaine's mind began to race in time with her footfalls. It's too dark. It's too dark. Not just fire. Can't be fire. Too much smoke. Gotta save her. Gotta save her. She burst into the front yard and came to a sudden halt. Her worst suspicions were confirmed. The smoke from the fire was mingling with the thick, inky blackness of an enormous shade. The massive creature supported itself on 3 twisted feet and achieved balance through means of a large armored tail. Scales, horns, and claws sprouted from its body in a random, chaotic pattern, giving it the appearance of a lizard designed by some insane god. Seeing Kaine, it let out a roar and flicked its tail, sending small whirlwinds spinning around the yard. For a moment, the creature retreated into a shimmering, inky blackness, as if her mind was unable to comprehend that such a thing could actually exist. But then the smell hit her, a blend of rotted meat and excrement, and the horror became real once more. The creature bellowed again, and this time Kaine responded with a scream of her own. "All right, you bastard," she thought as her scream echoed off the high cliffs around them. "It's you or me. Let's go." The shade eyed Kaine with bemused interest. Then it began looking from her to the house and back again, as if urging her to look at the destruction it had so gleefully wrought. With dread building in her heart, Kaine glanced toward the house. Through the smoke and flames, she spotted a small figure struggling to escape the ruins. "Grandma!" At the sound of her voice, the old woman began waving frantically. "She's alive," thought Kaine. "Alive." Kaine's legs sprang to life as she raced across the yard toward the flaming wreckage of the house. Before she could advance more than a few steps, the shade opened its mouth and let out a roar powerful enough to uproot trees and send them flying. The blast sent Kaine tumbling through the air before smashing her against the rocky earth. Stars danced in front of her eyes as she tried to remember how her legs worked. "Get up! Get up! Get up, get up, get up, now!" As Kaine struggled to her feet, the shade stomped toward the house and pinned her grandmother to the ground with the tip of a claw. The old woman struggled to move the claw from her stomach, but she might as well have been pushing a mountain. She coughed briefly, sending a small spray of blood into the air, then collapsed to the ground, her energy spent. Kaine lurched to her feet, only to fall back to the earth with a gasp. Her ankles were on fire. One or both of them were surely broken. Ignoring the pain that screamed through her body, she began dragging herself across the ground, leaving a drunken trail of dust and blood in her wake. "Grandma, hold on. Just a little longer." Her grandmother's face was turning blue, her eyes rolling back until only the whites were exposed. Kaine pulled herself across the ground with maddening slowness, the distance seeming to increase with every second that passed. The shade glanced between the two women and flicked out its tongue, its giant mouth turning up at the corners. Short, panting breaths belched from somewhere deep inside its core. "Bastard, laughing at us." She had no idea how such a mindless creature could experience emotion, but there could be no doubt the shade was taking joy in their suffering. "Yeah, I see your plan." The shade moved its claw slightly, allowing Grandma to breathe again. It was clearly keeping her alive, only to snuff out her life when Kaine was close enough to touch her. "I'm gonna kill this bastard." Summoning all her strength, Kaine rose to her feet. There was a sickening snap from her right ankle as the foot twisted backward, but she forced it from her mind and began to hobble toward the monster. Pulling a small knife from her pouch at her waist, she leapt on the foot that was pinned her grandmother and plunged the weapon deep. "Give her back," she screamed. "Give her back to me." It was like stabbing a rock. After a few swipes, the knife broke at the hilt with a dull snap. The shade panted laughter again, then raised its tail and sent it rushing through the air toward the young girl that was lashed to its foot. Kaine never had a chance. The tail struck her square in the chest and sent her crashing into the burning wreckage of the home. As she lay on the ground with blood pouring from multiple wounds, a small, weak voice spoke up. "Kaine?" Kaine's vision was blurred, but she forced herself to focus on the sound. Finally, her eyes cleared enough for her to make out her grandmother's hands reaching out for her through the smoke. "Grandma? Kaine, you gotta run. You can't best this one." Kaine grabbed the hands and held on with all her strength. "Grandma, come on, we have to go." The old woman coughed loudly. One of her hands, slick with blood, slipped from Kaine's grasp and thumped to the ground below. "Grandma, no. No! I said run, goddammit. You have to live. You have to get through." The thought would stay forever unfinished. Before she could say another word, the shade's clawed foot descended, smashing through the remains of the roof and down upon the shattered figure of the old woman. Blood oozed from gaps in the creature's toes as the terrible putrid smell assaulted Kaine's nose once again. She stared at the foot, dumbfounded, convinced that what she was seeing could not possibly be real. When the creature finally lifted its appendage, all that remained underneath was a twisted, unrecognizable mass of rubble and red. Her grandmother was gone. Kaine blinked, trying to feel the hands which had been in hers just a moment before. For a fleeting instant, she could remember the warmth of that embrace, the trembling of the fingers, but then the sensation drifted away on the breeze and was gone. Memories flashed through Kaine's mind, one after the other, faster and faster, until they became a meaningless jangle of noise. Kaine screamed then, a thunderous sound that echoed off the cliffs and seemed to roll away forever. The shade eased forward, black ichor pouring from its mouth and dissolving into smoke on the ground below. The earth shook with every step as it crept towards its prey. Kaine's body slowly rose, as if controlled by a mad puppet master. Her arms and legs were bent at impossible angles. Her head lolled dangerously to the side, yet somehow she managed to stand. Staring at the shade, her eyes began to glow with a deep red fire. The creature, so confident just moments before, took a slow, hesitant step backward, trying to discern if this broken human could possibly pose a threat. Kaine seized the moment, laughing like a madwoman. She leapt into the air and plunged the shattered hilt of her knife deep into the leg of the shade. The shade shook Kaine off like a fly, sending her crashing to the earth once again. Her chest rose and fell slowly, as if a great weight were resting on it. Moist sounds of pain echoed through her mind. Something warm and thick oozed from her ears. Is that blood? Think it is. Think I'm bleeding to death. No, can't die. Grandma told me to live. Deep inside Kaine's mind, something finally broke. The sound, the pain, the smoke and flames, all of it faded away until all that remained was a single incantation repeated over and over again. Kill it. Kill it. Kill it. Kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it. This goes on for a whole damn paragraph. Kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it. Kill it now. As the spark that was Kaine slowly began to flicker and die, she felt her desire to kill and her desire to live blended into one. The distance between heartbeats grew longer and longer and longer. Oh yeah, we did get the costume. Alright, story time's over. When do we get the other part?
beast approaches. Oh, I know.
You don't have the ending, we have to fight that infinite bacon. I would have preferred if it was like this thing instead. Oh, camera, what are you doing? It's like, Jesus Christ, that was really weird.
What anger this creature must have. How did it even survive these past 5 years? I'm not gonna let this happen again. It dies today. My sword feels lighter. It's not the blade, but the skill of the user. Strike it
I've got
down.
one left. Is that it? What's wrong with you? Oh, there we go. Right in the face. He's using his magical powers to like really choke this chicken. Wow. That's a perfect representation of every Friday night. Sorry chat, I'm kind of in a funny mood right now. Okay. Oh, 2B's awake, or Kaine. Oh, there's one more book right here. Okay, Kaine's dream encounter. Gently, weakly, softly, the shade, sure that its tormentor was dead, turned and stomped off toward the horizon, stopping along the way to bellow one final roar. Couldn't kill it. Shamed beyond imagining, Kaine tried to turn her head to the side, but only succeeded in coughing up a huge gout of blood. It was getting difficult to see, and only after a moment of fierce concentration did she realize that her left eye was gone. Laughing to herself, she turned her remaining eye to the ruins of her home, and noticed a ragged stump of arm resting a few feet away. Yeah, that's mine, she thought with a mad giggle. This is gonna make clapping a real bitch. God, this is really, really black humor. Jesus Christ. Ha! Cried a sudden voice from the depths of her mind. Finally gonna die, are ya? Well, you had it coming. Go to hell, Demo, she thought at the unseen assailant. Go to hell before I pluck out your eyes and feed them to a dog. The voice of her childhood terror evaporated into smoke, only to be replaced by another, more recent voice. Hold still, said the apothecary, materializing from the ruins like a ghost. I want to draw you. That way you can live forever. No, stop. I don't want to live forever. I want to die right here. I see, he said quietly. Well, if that's what you want. The spectral shopkeeper fluttered in and out of existence for a moment, then produced a piece of paper and sketched quickly. After a few seconds, he turned the page to Kaine and smiled. Since you rejected my offer, I decided to draw someone else. It was a picture of her grandmother, real as life. Kaine opened her mouth to thank the man, but stopped as the picture began to blacken in the middle. Before she could say anything, dozens of multi-legged insects began to swarm across the image, tearing at it with sharpened pincers. Stop! No! Don't hurt that picture! Kaine reached out with her remaining arm and waved futilely in the air. To her surprise, the insects fell off the picture into the ground below, where they vanished into tiny black tendrils of smoke. Relieved, Kaine turned her good eye back to the picture, only to open her mouth in a silent scream. The sketch now showed her grandmother as she truly was, a smashed, unrecognizable lump of nothing. The apothecary smiled, then broke into a jolly dance. "See that?" he cried, as he danced his jig. "It's perfect now. She looks just like you. Ha-cha-cha-cha." "I look like that? Oh God. Oh God, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die." Drowning in despair, Kaine laid her head back in the mud and smoke of her ruined house and waited for the end to come. But just before she let everything go, an unfamiliar voice began whispering in her ear. "Ain't you got a wish, sunshine?" The voice was vulgar and fierce at the same time, as if insanity had somehow found a way to take form. Kaine wanted to scream as the voice crawled under her skin, but her lungs refused to work. "You know, a wish? Like a prayer or something? Why don't you get on your knees and start praying to heaven? Please, invisible man in the sky, save me. Save me." Ka-ha-ha-ha. Kaine finally resorted to shouting at the voice with her mind. "I don't make wishes. They don't come true for me. I'm a curse, a freak. I should be left to die." The other voice boomed in her ears. "Wahahaha. Oh God, you're the best." Kaine glanced down and saw a black, shiny substance oozing from her legs. She tried to brush it away, but her remaining arm would no longer respond. The substance slowly crept around her feet, and then began moving up toward the rest of her body. Is this death? Is this what it's like? Or is my mind just losing itself? She could feel the slime oozing upward, feel the hot, searing pain it left in its wake. Whatever else might be happening, she was still alive, and this was real. "Come on," said the voice. "Let it go." Is the voice Elsa? Sorry, I think I need more chapstick here. It is very, I think it's just consistently very dry in my apartment, because I always have the air conditioning running. And yeah, I guess my face gets really dry when I'm reading a book to the chat. Yeah, I swear I actually did apply as much as I could before the stream started, but yeah, this stuff, it wears out. Okay, here we go. Kaine tried to ignore the voice and concentrate on the pain, but the newcomer would have none of it. "Don't ignore me, sunshine. You're ready to give up, ready to die, so why not let me have it?" "Have what?" "Your body. Come on, give it to me. Give it to me. I want to stand on the ground, feel the rain, taste the wind." The voice paused as if licking its lips. When it resumed, it was filled with mad, unabated joy. "And I want to take your hands and use them to choke the goddamn life out of people. I want to tear out their throats and bathe in the blood, just like before." In response, Kaine shifted her head and vomited. The warmth of it crept down her throat and mingled with the pain of the encroaching black ooze. "Are you a shade?" "Yeah, maybe. What of it?" The slime reached her face, crept up past her nose, and slowly oozed into the socket of her missing eye. The moment it touched her brain, Kaine was struck by the most powerful sensation she'd ever felt in her life. It was ecstasy. She wanted to scream with delight, but all she could manage was a small, whispered moan. "Feels good, don't it?" asked the voice with a chuckle. "Yeah, what can I say? I know how to please the ladies. Now, give me that body. Come on, give me the body, and I'll give you more of this feeling. It's a fair trade." I don't know how this is happening, but I'm doing a very good job of reading this evil voice. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, it's just Seraphic Zero coming to his true nature. Okay. A black lump began to protrude from Kaine's side. As she watched, it grew longer and thicker, eventually taking the form of her missing arm. "I can see better," she thought. "My eye must be growing back too." The slime reached up to envelop the rest of her face, but she managed to brush it away. Stop, she whispered, marveling at how she had regained her voice. Stop. The black ooze hesitated, as if considering this request, then quickly shimmered down her body before disappearing in a cloud of smoke. What the hell, Sunshine? Screamed the voice. We had a deal. I thought you wanted to die. Grandma said, can't die yet. A brief image of her grandmother, bloodied and broken, flashed before her eyes. She saw the shade that had killed her and heard its mocking laughter, then closed her eyes and forced the image from her mind. Her whole body was quaking with rage. When she opened her eyes again, they burned bright red. That thing took my grandmother. I have to kill it before I die. Kaine glanced down and saw a mysterious pattern, the pattern of the shades, burn itself into her left arm. Well, I'll be damned, said the voice cheerfully. Look at that, Sunshine. I think you and me are gonna be good friends now. Kaine stared intently at her arm. The more emotional she felt, the more the letters seemed ready to puncture her skin, and began infecting the rest of her body. The arm clearly had a will of its own now. Stop. Gotta stop. Holding her left arm in her right, Kaine took a deep breath and tried to calm herself. Come on, don't fight it, pleaded the voice. Hate's my favorite dish, and I'm hungry. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Feel the anger. Burn with the fire of revenge. Thirst for blood. Then go out there and... Hey, Boxhead, what's going on? Yeah, we were reading a book. Shut up and get the hell out of my body. Your body? Oh, that's rich, Sunshine. Real rich. Look, why don't you just up and die so I can have this body all to myself? What do you say? I bet those buddies of yours in the area would love to see you dead. Kaine grabbed a nearby shard of glass and tried to saw off the shade-infected portion of her side. Before she could, the darkened left arm grabbed her right wrist, crushing it. Kaine screamed and dropped the shard as the sound of bone crunching on bone filled the air. Holy crap. Ha ha ha. Stupid idiot girl. You're possessed now, Sunshine. And there ain't no going back. The voice laughed again. A loud, long wail that seemed to go on without end. Possessed? Whispered Kaine. Yeah, possessed. You and me? We got what you might call a timeshare arrangement. Remember how folks used to think you were a freak? Well, wait till they get a load of you now. Kaine looked up, tears in her eyes. The sky seemed smaller somehow, darker. Is this because of that shade? Is this how they see the world? Huh. So the sky looks small and black? So, listen, purred the voice. I know this whole possession thing seems a bit sudden, but it ain't all bad. There's plenty in it for you, too. I'm a very powerful creature, Sunshine, and now that power belongs to you. You got enemies? People you want to kill? I can make it happen. That little fat kid who kept picking on you? That big old shade that squashed your granny? Well, wrap them up in their own assholes. We'll wrap them up in their own assholes. That's, I've never heard that one before. Holy shit. No more abuse for you, Sunshine. No more pain. Wait, said Kaine. You're a shade. Why would you help me kill another shade? What, you think like I'm some kind of racist? Some killing snob? I don't give a good goddamn who you murder, honey pants. I just want to drink from the well. Kaine considered this as she struggled to her feet, the power of the shade coursing through her. The smoke from her house was drifting away with the wind, and she enjoyed the way the cool evening breeze felt on her new left arm. After a long pause, the voice spoke up again. So, how about it? You and me. We could have some good times together. Look, I'll even take care of the bloody part if you don't want. Fuck off, asshole, muttered Kaine. I'll handle the killing. Kahaha, screamed the voice. Look at you go. Oh, Sunshine, we're gonna have so much fun. So listen, my name's Tyrion, and if you ever need me, I'll just be hanging out in this piece of meat you call a heart. Now get to it. The more you kill, the more your heart turns rotten and sour, and I like rotten and sour. Kaine found herself nodding at the voice. Yeah, she said. Yeah, I think this can work. I'm gonna find that shade, and I'm gonna strangle it with its own guts. And when I'm done, I'm gonna do the same to you, Tyrion. Count on it. Ha, laughed Tyrion. I've shit bigger than you, so good luck with that. Oh, and hey, one more thing. Right now, you and me are sharing this body, but if you ever run out of hate, if you ever, go soft, then I'm gonna take over everything. So keep on killing, sunshine, and watch your back. The voice grew fainter and gradually faded away, fading to somewhere deep inside Kaine herself. Kaine waited until she was sure the voice was gone, then waved her new left arm around a few times. It feels perfectly normal, she thought. It feels like mine. Desperately, she began poking and prodding at the new limb, determined to find something wrong with it. She didn't want it to feel normal. That would mean the creature inside her had already won. I am not a shade. I am Kaine. Repeating this mantra in her mind, she slowly began digging through the rubble of her house, being careful to ignore a certain red-stained spot in the corner. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity of heartbreaking work, she found what she was looking for. It was the wreath of lunar tears. Though it had been through hell and back, the garland's petals were as bright as ever. Kaine started to place it in her hair, and slowly lowered the wreath and stared at it. I'm sorry, Grandma. I'm so sorry. But I don't deserve to wear this anymore. I'm possessed, corrupted, a freak. And this time, I don't think there's any going back. Holding the flowers to her heart, Kaine fell to the ground and sobbed. As night gradually lightened to dawn, and the people of the area rose to their daily lives, she remained in that position, as if tears could somehow wash away the horror that now infected her world. Oh man.
Stay alive. Stay alive.
Grandma.
Kaine, you gotta live. You gotta come back to us.
I like how everyone has very kissable lips, especially Emil. I'm just kidding, he doesn't have lips at all.
Emil, you were the one calling me, weren't you?
You still recognize me?
Of course. I knew you right away.
Thank you, Kaine.
Welcome back, Kaine.
Wow. You grew up. So, how long has it been?
5 years.
Shit. That's a long time. Any luck with Yona?
We are still no closer to finding her. We need a way to locate the Shadow Lord. By the way, this is for you.
Is that a lunar tear?
It's not as good as your grandmother's, but I tried.
No, it's great. Thank you.
Okay, the band's back together.
Kaine waking from her long, petrified sleep. Emil's unflagging kindness. Our reunion was a happy one. We let it wash over us like rain. That is, Devila and Popola had to go and ruin it all.
Are you kidding me? You can't be serious.
Please try to understand. People are tired and scared, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry you have to bear the brunt of that.
This is crap, and you know it.
It's okay. We can sleep outside.
No one's sleeping outside. You and Kaine saved this village, and now they want to run you out?
People are afraid of us. And really, I understand. I mean, look at me.
Yeah, does anyone else want to invite a floating skeleton boy to come hang out in their village?
As long as you're still with us, I can deal with it. Right, Kaine?
I'm used to sleeping outside.
But
Yeah, it'll be a little warmer in this outfit, though.
We'll see you later.
Sorry about this.
what is the matter?
Okay, I guess we're done with storybook mode. I didn't... Wow, that really took an hour, like more than an hour. I really enjoyed it, though. That was very good reading. Even if I'm like mentally disabled and couldn't rate it properly to the chat. Oh shit. Yeah, so thanks for putting up with that, guys. Okay, let's keep going.
Kaine always sleeps outside. I never thought about that until just now. Never even occurred to me. Damn it.
We should turn in.
I didn't get much sleep that night. For the first time in my life, I hated Devila. For the first time in my life, I doubted Popola. But those feelings are pointless in the end. They said and did what they did for the sake of the village. To protect it from the horror of the Shades. Really, how can I blame Devila and Popola? In the end, I'm just as bad. Because I never once stopped to think about Kaine and Emil's situation myself.
Yeah, I can really respect a character that can like have that kind of self-reflection and see his own hypocrisy. That is exceedingly rare. What is this? I don't remember this at all.
I should apologize to Kaine and Emil. But what good would that even do? Wait, is that...
I'm so happy to get to talk to you again, Kaine.
Oh, is this new? This looks new.
Yeah, me too.
I tried everything I could think of to save you, you know. I polished you with a special cloth. I poured warm water over you.
Wait, you poured water on me?
Yeah, but it didn't really do much except make you all shiny.
Hey, Emil. Thanks for saving me.
I guess you noticed how I look different now.
I'm sorry, Emil. I'm sorry for all of it.
Well, I mean, this new form isn't all bad, you know? At least I can look at you when we talk, right? Hey, so why don't you tell me something about yourself?
I'm not very interested. Sorry.
Really? Yeah, I am really enjoying these boots. I like how like they're all like really worn out at the bottom too, which you know that makes a lot of sense.
Come on, I just want to know you better. Please?
Fine. This all happened when I was a kid, before the whole shade possession thing. My body is different. And when the villagers found out about it, they started treating me like a freak. But one person, my grandmother, accepted me just as I was. No matter how bad things got, she gave me the strength to keep going.
She's really special to you, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, hey! That gives me an idea. Since we cured your petrification, we should start looking for a way to cure your possession in my body. I know we can do it if we all work together. Heck, it'll probably be super easy.
Let me guess. More warm water?
Okay. Can we just forget I told you about that?
Yeah, that was really cute. Oh, let's see how NieR ruins it now. Come on, you big dummy.
Sleep well?
Sure.
And yet your red eyes tell a different tale. Don't be so hard on yourself, lad.
I need to go see Devila and Popola.
Very well.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah, before they kind of just implied that Kaine and Emil just really enjoyed hanging out with each other, but yeah, the fact that they could give some perspective that's not directly from NieR, that's pretty good. Yeah, I'm really glad they were able to do that. Gold moonflower seed. Game, why do you torture me so? Okay, so this is the DLC right here. It's basically just an arena challenge. I'm not going to do that right now because, you know, that would be horrific. Let me just check out some things. Okay, we're still at 100% quest completion. I'm at 90% weapons, so I think I think the total includes the DLC weapons, so I would need to, you know, play through the DLC. Okay, and I only have 63% words. Yep. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, what time is it now? It's 9 o'clock. Yeah, we can keep going for a little bit. Just my chickens. Let me just plant like one of these. What? Okay, I guess it's kind of treating it like a new game or something. Alright, let me save my shit. Oh, that was fun. Alright, so we gotta go see Devila and Popola. Here's the Devila.
Hey.
Oh, hi. I kinda thought you'd never talk to us again.
I understand you're doing this for the village, and that you don't have a choice.
Pretty much, yeah. But look, why don't you go talk to Popola? I think she wanted to discuss the Shadow Lord with you.
I'm headed there next. Oh, and Devila?
Yeah?
Sorry about yesterday. I shouldn't have lost my temper like that.
You don't need to apologize. Anyone would be upset when their friends are hurting. Let Emil and Kaine know that we're sorry, alright?
Alright.
Let Emil and Kaine know that we're sorry, alright?
Alright.
Okay. Man, these are some really happy doggos right here. They look suspiciously similar to Salty's dog, except, you know, brown instead of black.
I'd prefer not to walk so much. My back gives me a lot of pain.
Alright, somebody get this woman like a jetpack or something. Huh. Yeah, I'm liking I'm liking the Hubtown music. I miss Pod. Oh wait, sorry, I want to check out something first, chat. So I needed to see how this affects
What
this.
is the purpose of this place?
Beats me. Maybe it's Poppola's hobby corner.
Okay, so on the right side in the center, there's a figure that's like a little boy, and I'm trying to figure out like which boss is that figure. I think it's probably the little shade that hangs out with the robot, but I'm not sure. But yeah, we'll check this place out occasionally just so we can keep track of that. Okay, let's go talk to the Popola. Yeah, her name is extremely fun to say.
Poppola?
Oh. Hello.
Look, I want to apologize for yesterday.
Stop. You didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, but neither did you. You're just trying to protect the villagers. And I jumped down your throat for it.
It's very kind of you to say so. Regardless, please don't let it trouble you.
I believe there was something you wished to discuss with us.
Oh, I totally forgot this book was here.
Oh, right. Yes, about that. You know about the lost shrine, right?
The temple where I was first discovered.
That's it. Well, it seems that the Shadow Lord's lair is connected to it somehow.
Oh, it was right under our pages the whole time.
But the bridge that leads there is unusable.
So take a boat.
A boat?
Yes, the canal's finally been repaired. It took a lot longer than expected, what with the shades and all. I also asked them to provide a boat at the path to the Lost Shrine's back entrance. The ferryman will let you use it free of charge. That should make it easier for you to move from town to town.
Thanks, Poppola. I feel like you've done so much for me. I'm really grateful. Alright, I'll see you around.
And for the love of everything, be careful.
Okay.
And for the love of everything, be careful.
Okay. Alright. Yeah, we gotta go to Lost Shrine now. Let's go. NieR brought a chick home with him. It just makes little trips and follows me around everywhere. It's the cutest
The
thing.
path above the entrance to the shopping district should lead to the boat landing.
How excellent to know the canal is finished. Hopefully this puts our days of running all over behind us.
The faster we can move, the faster we can save Yona. Let's use it as often as we need.
Okay, I guess we'll just continue the story. I'm gonna save every time I get the opportunity. Yeah, this game has never crashed on me, but yeah, I don't know, I'm just being really cautious. Okay, now that we've done all the subquests already, we can just focus on the story and yeah, seeing what Route B gets to show us extra. Hey guys, welcome to the live stream. There's a bunch of you here all of a sudden. Very strange. Okay, so let's get to the shrine, and as we're fighting our way up, we can kind of talk about Kaine's story for a second.
Hey, look who it is. Remember me?
Dude, he's alive again. What the hell?
That red bag. By my pages. You're the slovenly half of that couple who refused to stop arguing.
Hello, Finder. Welcome to the chat. Huh. So I guess he is alive again because we haven't done the mermaid part of the story.
Hey, it's been a while.
Sure has. I've been in charge of this canal since we last talked. Apparently I did a pretty good job with it because they decided to make me the permanent ferryman.
Oh yeah, huh? Congrats.
Thanks. Still, it's not all puppies and unicorns. The old ball and chain is always harping on me now about how much I work. Anyway, if you got a place to be, just let me know and I'll take you there.
Okay, let's fucking go. Oh, there's Yona again.
The Lost Shrine's up ahead, just past this cave.
As well as the Shadowlord's castle.
Let us make haste.
Oh god, it's I fucking miss this music so much. Oh my god. NieR and Vicey are always together. He says even though they argue a lot, they're... Oh, that actually loads so fast I can't read it all. Oh. Here's Gretel. He says Hansel. What do you want? Go away, dirty, defective swine. I'm not like you. I'm different. Is that the Yorha icon? Go. Oh, there's a rainbow here. Cool. Okay, so so what we've learned about Kaine is that when she was born, she has a different body that's not normal. And so the game only really alludes to what's different about Kaine, but it never really states it explicitly. And I think the reason it does this is that it doesn't really matter what's different about Kaine. It's just that she's different, like she's physically different, and you know, humans being a bunch of assholes, they're gonna, you know, treat her horribly for it, which, you know, they really shouldn't be doing. So at the beginning of Kaine's story, it describes her as a child who's sexless, and then in the segment about the mermaid story, like when the postman comes up and he comes across the protagonist. So the postman in the mermaid story, he's trying to take care of this little girl, but so he's coming to the ship to feed the girl who lives in the ship, but you know, she has to eat. He's trying to figure out how to get her to talk, and I guess she's sort of age where, you know, she goes through menses. So he's trying to ask Kaine for advice, like, hey, how do I, you know, help take care of her when it's her time of the month? But yeah, this kind of ticks Kaine off, and it suggests that maybe Kaine doesn't actually have a period because of her body. You again, stop bothering me. Grimoire Weiss has been taken away. Hansel is dead. There's no reason for me to exist anymore. Yeah, so Hansel and Gretel, you can see how the game, like NieR, it kind of started as sort of this idea where you took a bunch of storybook stories and kind of mushed them all together into one universe. Yeah, so this game was almost Kingdom Hearts. Like, almost. I kind of want to see Yoko Taro have another stab at that. My life is over. Just leave me alone. What? Okay, so...
Ain't you excited, sunshine?
Oh.
We finally get to bathe in blood.
Don't talk to me.
I want to kill so bad I can barely stand it.
Holy crap, I do so much damage in normal mode. I just one-shotted that thing, holy crap. Okay, so in Route B, we can actually hear Tyrion, like he's the shade that possessed Kaine. So that gives a lot of different insight, like into what's happening in the story. Oh shit. Mr. Weasel says, there is a game with elements of fairy tales called Sino Alice. Yoko Taro approves too. Yeah, didn't they do like a ton of collaborations with like NieR stuff? Oh, these are much easier to kill now. Let's see, can I just machine gun them to death? Yes, I can. Oh, yeah, the game is so much easier now. I can just like focus on the story and not getting my ass juggled like forever. What? You're just gonna start swinging before you're done spawning in, you little shit? Huh. Wow, you shouldn't have dropped your guard like that. Ouch. Damn, that fucking sucks. What the hell? Oh, bitch. Mr. Weasel says, yeah, they did a lot of collabs and, you know, Twitter. Game is sexist, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Yeah, have they considered that just, like, existing is sexist and they should all just go away if they didn't want to be sexist? Okay, Yoko only said, I like the woman in this game. Okay. Isn't that a good thing? If he was sexist, wouldn't he have said, oh, I don't want any women in my games? And, you know, if people are sexist, why does it even matter? Just, you know, go on and live your own life. Yeah, I can't go on with my life, like, there's no safety or comfort in my life unless Yoko Taro agrees with everything I want, right? Yeah, Twitter was a huge mistake. Yeah, it just gives a bunch of morons the platform to complain when, you know, their opinions just don't matter. Yeah, just a bunch of morons with no merit or accomplishment. They can just whine and whine all day. That's great. Yeah, people like to complain for attention because they don't know how to get attention for being useful people. Oh, I love moving blocks. It's my favorite activity. Mr. Weasel says, was Twitter a mistake or a mistake? It was both.
This is all too easy.
Let's give this a spin. Wow, it actually killed all of them. Holy shit. Nice. I really enjoyed that. Freaking doubled. There's nothing over here. Alright. Okay, so the game itself, it only alludes to Kaine's condition, but it's never really stated explicitly. Like, if you want to know exactly what's going on, you have to go look at the side materials, which I don't know why Yoko Taro's all about that, but yeah, he is all about that. He likes to kind of spread everything about his stories into kind of different mediums. I don't know why, but that's just how he do. And I guess in a way it kind of makes his projects more balanced in that. So have any of you guys played a Final Fantasy game? So the way Yoko Taro handles his storytelling, it's a lot more healthy and balanced compared to Final Fantasy. So the way Final Fantasy do is it comes up with a whole ton of crazy horseshit, like just overly technical, unfun horseshit, and it just waterboards you with these details and annoying concepts the entire time you're playing the game, and it sucks. I really dislike the way Final Fantasy handles that. But the way Yoko Taro do is, you know, all of those interesting details exist, but he doesn't feel a need to, like, just shove all of those details down your throat. Like, they exist, but to access them, you're going to want to look at the side materials if you care enough to look at them. But, you know, even though those details exist, kind of like the details, like, they do exist, but they're not so important that you need to bog down the story and the pacing to just, you know, just lay it all out explicitly. So I feel like that's a very mature way to handle your storytelling. Like, the main game, what it's worried about is the main emotional beats of the storytelling. That's the most important part. And if you want the crazy technical details, you know, as you do in Japanese storytelling, you go to the side materials. So if you want to know, the shade is saying turn back, turn back. Interesting.
What's with these guys?
Certainly not your garden variety, Shades.
Their bodies aren't fully functional.
Say, I've heard of this. A cursed area where incomplete shades gather.
They're incomplete shades? Okay, I guess I have no choice but to climb up. Lift that box. Can I actually make it down right there? Probably not. Wait, did Kaine just go down there? Woman, where'd you go? Okay, she's kind of teleported back next to us. Okay, Mr. Weasel says, are you advocating homework for video games? Well, that's the thing, like, the side materials aren't required, they're just interesting if you want to look for them. And, you know, I'm kind of the worst kind of this, but I am a little bit of a scholar. A little bit. Yeah, there's just some things that you're just better off learning on your own. That's kind of the whole mechanic of homework. Yeah, I'm not a fan of busy work, though, which is, you know, the way most schools handle their homework. That's just stupid. Yeah, but practicing on your own is a good idea. Learning on your own is the best idea. Okay, so let's talk about Kaine's short story a little bit more. So, yeah, so it was saying that when she was younger, so she had sort of a sexless, genderless appearance about her. But it was kind of through her interactions with her grandmother where she kind of found her identity. So her grandmother would compliment her as being a very beautiful girl. So I guess Kaine kind of adopted, yeah, I'm gonna want to be feminine. And so I can't really demonstrate this point right now because I changed Kaine's costume. But yeah, her default costume, it is extremely hyper feminine and very sexual. So it was sort of like she kind of went from like her body being different. Like she got treated very badly for it, but you know, later on her grandmother would praise her for being a beautiful woman. And so kind of lean into like her love for her grandmother and the way her grandmother felt about her, she kind of leaned into the whole feminine thing and, you know, just went crazy into that extreme. So, you know, the way she dresses kind of makes sense, like for her personality and, you know, given her background. It just at the same time, it just happens to also be provocative, and you know, it'll attract all the perverts like me and the rest of the chat. And then it'll also make the feminists mad because, you know, they don't feminists are just mad about things without wanting to understand them. So, you know, if I'm sure there are a ton of people already complaining about Kaine, and for the brief time I was looking at the GameFAQs board for this game, yeah, they were already complaining about Kaine. Which I don't know, it just seemed like would they be mad if they really understood her character? Yeah, I don't know. Okay, this is a lot of blocks around here. Yeah, this is how Shadowlord defends his castle, by putting lots of blocks in the way of his doors. Just never heard of a lock before. Okay, so Tanta says, it's like for us dumb people, Final Fantasy style is exposition dumps, where if you don't follow along, you don't know shit. And Satanta says Yoko's style is, the stuff is nice but doesn't matter. You're here to see how people react to a world that they see and live in. Okay, Satanta says, how dare you, sir? I'm a cultured man, not a pervert. Okay, Bane Beaver says, a feminist that isn't mad is looking to be... Yeah. Okay, Mr. Weasel says, but Satanta, you can't do that. If a character is bi or gay, they have to be all that and nothing else. Okay, that room is empty, surprisingly. This one is not. Ow! Why don't you spawn in and start swinging, you bunch of assholes? Yeah, I'm glad I can use this pipe now without being underpowered. Let's break his guard. Yeah, get him, Kaine. Yeah, that's kind of what annoys me about, like, a lot of complaints that come out of these types of parties is they just complain about the surface things and they don't even bother to learn about anything. It's like, come on. Holy crap. That guy got his face caved in by a lead pipe. Or actually it's an iron pipe. Oh yeah, I forgot I had that spin kick. Okay. Oh god. Oh, how many health salves did I use before? Is that everybody? Okay, we got him. Okay. Oh, hey, Scubron. Yeah, welcome to the chat. Scubron, I really wish you had been here for the beginning of the live stream. I think you would have enjoyed it quite a bit. But yeah, like, oh, Jesus. Wow, this thing got its ass beat. Jesus Christ. Anyway, Scubron, yeah, so the beginning of the live stream, we started Route B, and it began with a series of short stories that explained Kaine's past. I think you would have really appreciated it. Yeah, especially her relationship with her grandmother. Yeah, yeah, I think you would have enjoyed that a lot, but unfortunately, we're already past that. So, yeah, so maybe you can go back in and, yeah, and see that on your own. Okay, Mr. Weasel says, there's one thing in video games he doesn't see addressed, and it's a serious point. Spin kicks? Yeah, I'm talking about this. Like, I'm sure there's a proper name for that kick, but I am not a martial artist. I don't know it. Yeah, it's not exactly a roundhouse kick because it uses both legs. It's not. I don't feel it's quite a windmill kick either because it's only got 2 of them. Oh my fucking god! This is a lot of blocks. We're gonna push this one. Anyway, what else were we talking about? So, yeah, we were talking about how the short stories before they alluded to Kaine's condition, and they don't say exactly what's different about Kaine's body, but if you want to read the side stories, they do talk about it explicitly. Yeah, so Kaine is yeah, I guess I can't give 1000% of it away, but the Kaine that we know, her body is hermaphroditic, so most of her seems female, but she has male genitals, and and I guess kind of the reason for this isn't really all that important, but yeah, so we learned at the end of Route A that everybody in this world is not actually human. They're artificial bodies, and they just happen to gain sentience. So Kaine, like, she has an artificial body, and when it was created, I'm not really sure what the creation process is, but when her artificial body was created, there was a basically a manufacturing error, and it made her a hermaphrodite. Whoa, what's going on? Oh, very weird. Anyway, we got some healing items in here. Yeah, and just I guess just by chance, like, her body was made differently, and it made all the fat nerds in her village basically torture her like every day. Yeah, so I guess that's kind of what her life was like. Okay, Gretel says, I've treated you all poorly. I mocked you, betrayed you, all because you went Gestalt before the change was complete. But after all this, I think I can understand you. I think we can speak as equals. Okay, this makes me very happy. I hope we can spend the rest of our lives. Okay, Satanta says, as someone who spent a good portion of their youth getting their shit pushed in and pushing other people's shit in, it's called a 360 crescent. Oh, okay, yeah, thank you for naming that type of kick for us, Satanta. Okay, Mr. Weasel says, basically you're saying she has a femdick. She has a penis, but I wouldn't call it feminine. So here's the next thing I was going to discuss. So if you want to know for sure whether or not Kaine has, you know, this feminine penis, you need to read the short story called The Witch's Banquet, or The Witch's Feast. It's actually there on the wiki for this game. Yeah, someone made a translation of it. And yeah, so that story, I don't like. Maybe I'll actually read it during a live stream later on, but you know, not today. I've done a lot of reading today. But yeah, I'll find it and link it for you guys, probably in the Discord. And in the Witch's Feast,
Kaine, Emil, look, from now on, I'm going to sleep outside with you.
Why?
I can't accept that you aren't allowed in the village. It's stupid.
So you're staging a protest? Fun.
Don't waste your time.
But it just feels wrong.
Well, that's really nice of you, but you still don't have to stay out here with us.
Emil.
You've got a super important mission. You can't sleep out in the rain. What if you catch a cold? Besides, I like camping with Kaine. Sometimes we sit around the fire and tell stories, or roast...
Emil, that's enough. I've got a fucking image to maintain.
yeah, Kaine wants to maintain the image of being a mean badass instead of a cute and cuddly girlfriend. Okay, what were we saying? Yeah, so I'll link the Witch's Feast into the Discord. It is a really interesting and fucking brutal story. Like, holy shit. But yeah, like, Kaine's physical condition is made very explicit in there. And just so you guys know, yeah, her possession by the Shade Tyrann is fucking horrific. It's just brutal and gross. But yeah, that's just how this universe do. Okay, where were we going? I can't remember. I could have sworn there should be more shades out here.
We seem to be surrounded by a mob of helpless puppies.
Just kick them aside.
Kick puppies, really? Oh, okay, yeah, my magic is, it's tied to the weapon I have equipped, so yeah, this iron pipe doesn't have a lot of magic. Yeah, normally that would have one-shotted the whole, like, group. He got stuck on a wall. Okay, Satanta says 2021 confirmation. NieR kicks puppies. Oh, he's done worse. Okay, Mr. Weasel asks, where's Twitter when Chris Chan happened? Scribbon says he thought he would never be interested in Chris Chan again. Who is Chris Chan? Scribbon says he defies gods. He blames Twitter, by the way. The 4chan trolls were actually a good role models compared to Twitter. Yeah, I think what happened was, like, all the mentally ill folks, they would just hang out on Tumblr. And then they all quit Tumblr when Tumblr disallowed pornography on there. And then, like, they all just started flooding Twitter. And, you know, Twitter being, you know, prominent social media, all the crazy people, yeah, they just kind of, like, by force took over the culture, you know, because they're fucking crazy. And, you know, they're probably all at home on unemployment, so they have all day to just spend on Twitter. Fam Anduk says, wow, this game lasts more than 60 hours? Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I did all the side quests. Yeah, I did 100% completion. And I only just started Route B. Like, this game has 5 routes. But yeah, like, I don't know, I just enjoy this game a lot. Raga says, you don't know Chris Chan? I've heard the name here and there in the past few weeks, but I can't recall exactly what Chris Chan is. Okay, so anyway, Screwbot, on Route B, because Kaine is possessed by the Shade Tyrann, we can actually hear what the Shades are talking about with Kaine's perspective. He's missing an arm. Shit.
What's going on? There's dozens of them!
These are creatures of the darkness. Lure them to the light. Pathetic to the end, I see.
Aim for that statue. It's the leader.
I'm not their leader, it is I who rely on them. Ooh, that one got murdered by someone. It is they who saved me. Stop hurting my friends.
Oh, you're funny. I'm gonna start crying here.
Okay, I don't know why the game's lock-on is just misbehaving so much today.
You cannot hope to best me.
These little bastards just keep coming.
These creatures cannot abide the sun. Lure them into the light.
Okay, fine. Oh, they die really fast in here. Holy crap. They got beaten really fast there.
Have you felled the beast?
This is one stubborn son of a bitch.
Damn it, damn it, damn it!
Hey there, sunshine. You ain't feeling bad this week, are ya? Ain't no turning back now. You gotta lust for blood. Embrace the slaughter. All we know is the thrill of battle. Ain't that right, Kaine?
Oh, I actually booped him on the snoot.
Kaine!
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, you're kidding me!
Kaine!
What's going on? Okay. Gretel was trying to get his body to move, but I think he's just way too fucked up. Ooh, stabbed him right in the tonsil.
Kaine! You alright? Kaine!
I fear there is little we can do for her.
No! Kaine!
What is happening?
Oh wait, is Chris Chan that that huge piece of shit that raped his grandmother?
Kaine! Kaine!
Yeah, if that's the guy, yeah, fucking throw him into a wood chipper, like please. Oh, Kaine lost her 2B outfit. That's funny.
It's Kaine's shade.
With no other choice, we must strike it down.
Oh no, she's actually taking a ton of damage. Oh no. Alright, I'm only beating her because she enjoys it, chat, okay? This was perfectly consensual. Oh my god. Yeah, see, she's shooting back and everything. Oh my god, look at this shit. That's actually pretty, this looks pretty awesome. Oh. Sorry, I actually rammed my face against one of my girlfriend's balls here. You know how it is, chat. Oh, jeez.
Now, pin her down.
Okay.
Kaine, please! Come back to us!
Oh dear.
Kaine! Kaine!
Whoa, what was that? There's like a blood texture on me. It just kind of like zooped away. Weird.
Kaine!
I couldn't hold it back.
Yeah, so guys, when you're yeah, when your girlfriend gets possessed by a demon, you just beat her with an iron pipe until she behaves and like reverts back to a nice lady. Oh yeah, it was his mother, you know.
I can't be with...
We're always going to be together, Kaine. If you transform again, we'll just stop it again. As many times as it takes. I don't care how tough it is. We're gonna get you back. I like sleeping outside because I'm with you, Kaine. I'm able to ignore my appearance and keep going because of you. I'm weak, and I'm sad, and I'm lonely. But you make me strong. You're my friend, and I need you. So don't you dare leave me.
Okay, child.
All right. Stop crying.
Fam is asking, is this the iron pipe that also appears in Automata? Yeah, it's the same iron pipe. Yeah, so the weapon in Automata, it's referencing this weapon in the original NieR.
And... thanks. I'm alright.
Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out, like, is Kaine even killable while she's possessed by this shade? Because, yeah, homegirl took a spear to the chest and she was fine. Alright, got my health restored, that's nice. Okay, everybody cool? Yeah, no more possession, no beatings necessary. Alright, let's keep going. Yeah, the whole Christian thing, it's I suppose it's a complicated problem, but there's clearly a lot of people who are not well, but just because they're not well doesn't mean they should be free to just run around and just hurt a ton of people, which, you know, this Christian clearly has. So yeah, if, you know, the legal system would actually do its fucking job and, you know, deal with the people who are hurting everyone else, that would be great. But yeah, I guess, yeah, we're too busy fighting with each other on Twitter to actually know what's right and wrong.
And what is this?
It's me. It's got some kind of writing on it, but I don't know what it says.
How remarkably useless of you. Well, let's go ask Popola.
Okay, Satanta says, since Kaine is an error in the system and she is possessed by a shade that isn't her other self, then I guess, yeah, she is pretty much immortal. Yeah, I think the shade, like, gives her body, like, well, first of all, insane physical and magical powers, and it also seems to regenerate her body whenever she's wounded. Like, when she first got possessed by Tyrion, it regrew her left arm and her eye, And you know, I think by that point in the story, both of her legs were busted. And I think she was like bleeding like out of her head or something. Like it just pretty much brought her back from the brink of death. So yeah, I think she kind of is a little immortal while she's possessed by Tyrion. Yeah, Mr. Weasel says the Chris Chan issue is more complicated than it sounds, but one thing is clear, Chris is in the wrong here. Yeah. Okay, Screwbun says, do you remember when Microsoft made an AI to interact in social media, and 4chan made it pretty much think like Hitler? 4chan is more or less just like that AI. Okay. Okay, so Talbot says, no, her derp strength is all her apparently. The magic is the shade though. Really? Yeah, I was kind of curious about that, Satanta, because, you know, when Kaine was getting beat up by the bullies, like, her grandmother was like, yeah, you could have taken all of them. I didn't know if she was referring to, like, Kaine just having, like, super Hulk strength or something. Like, I can't really see why Kaine would be that strong. I mean, she can fucking, like, jump over mountains and shit. It doesn't really make sense for, you know, her body's error to do that type of stuff to her. Like, I was thinking, like, yeah, she's strong, but, like, I was thinking the super strength came from the shade or something.
Can you determine its meaning?
I mean, if she really was that powerful, like, would her body have been beaten up and destroyed that easily by fighting that other shade? I don't really think so. It kind of sounded like she just had regular human resilience at that point.
I think this is the key to unlocking the Shadow Lord's castle. Here, take a look at this. I wrote down all the words I can understand. This fragment is called the Stone Guardian. Given that you found it in the Lost Shrine, the words must mean something. There are spaces here for 4 other fragments as well. Sacrifice, the Law of Robotics, the Memory Tree, Loyal Cerberus. The Law of Robotics probably refers to the Junk Heap. And the Memory Tree might be the Forest of Myth. But as for Sacrifice and Loyal Cerberus, I don't have a clue.
Not a problem. If we want to fill in the words, we just run around the world killing every big monster we find, right?
Oh, splendid. By all means, let us undertake a murderous rampage.
They're just shades. Besides, it's the only way to reach the Shadow Lord.
It's a dangerous task.
Yeah, well, Yona's in even more danger.
But how can you even be sure that she's...
Because she is! Right? The Junk Heap in the Forest of Myth, yeah? I'm on my way.
Please be careful. Oh, and listen. About Kaine and Emil. The villagers know how much they've sacrificed, and they're thankful. It's just... they're scared, you know? People can't change overnight. I'll hurry them along the best I can. But can you please give them a little more time?
Finder says this guy needs a vacation. Kind of, but you know, his sister has been kidnapped by a giant flying monster thing. So yeah, probably not the best time for a vacation.
I'll try.
Okay, let's go. Okay, so we just beat up a thing. Let's see what's in here. What? Weird, there's nothing new in here. I wonder when it's supposed to populate. Okay, Okay, Fam says the book sounds like Arden from Final Fantasy 15. I can't remember who the voice actor is. He's the same guy that voiced Ashura from Ashura's Wrath. Liam O'Brien? Yeah. So if Liam O'Brien did what's his face, Arden, it might be the same person. Okay, okay, let's try to dodge the books for a bit. We'll go to the junk heap.
Corporal has said we might be able to find a key fragment in the junk heap.
Perhaps we can find a clue at Two Brothers' weaponry.
Okie dokie. Okay, invisible walls, that's great. Alright, chat, I am getting pretty tired, and I guess we're at a pretty good stopping point. Yeah, so let me save my shit, so we can say our goodbyes. Okay, so yeah, we just started Route B, figured out a lot of Kaine's backstory. Apparently the side books for NieR, it actually has the origin story for Tyrion, as well as Kaine before, before she was made into a replicant. But you know, that's going so far back where I'm just kind of finding it corny instead of intriguing. But yeah, that material exists. Maybe I'll check it out if I have time. Yeah, so I will link the short story, The Witch's Sabbath, in the Discord so that you guys can see it. I also have Grimoire NieR linked in the video description, but for some reason during live streams you guys can't really see it. But you know, when this goes back into like a viewable video, like it'll be there. So yeah, so you can find The Witch's Sabbath from there as well. Okay, yeah, I guess I just need to fucking go to sleep now. Okay, so what's this week gonna be like? I guess tonight they're going to launch the Sazabi banner in Gundam Battle Operation 2, so I'll try to cover that. I might actually be a little busy this week because a lot of my family went to California for a trip, so I have to go and take care of all the animals that they left behind, unfortunately. So yeah, I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to stream the rest of this week, but we'll see. I mean, I'll be busy Saturday, like hanging out with some of my friends. So yeah, I don't know how, how much I'll be around for the rest of the week. Anyway, guys, yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this live stream. It was a lot of fun, reading through the stories. Finding more about the characters, that type of stuff. Yeah, so if you want to see future content, you can subscribe to the channel. We covered GBO2. We're going to continue NieR Replicant. We're on Route B right now. It goes all the way through Route E. And what else were we doing? Yeah, I guess we have a couple of live streams for Monster Hunter Rise left available. I think at that point we'll probably just finish all the content. Salty and I are thinking of starting Monster Hunter Freedom Unite on the PSP. We'll probably play it through an emulator. I haven't installed any emulators yet, so I'm still trying to figure out the mechanics of that. Yeah, but anyway, guys, I think we're done here. So yeah, you guys have a good night. Thanks for coming by, and we'll see you next time.